What is up, RotoGrinders? I'm not going to scream at y'all. I'm not going to yell at y'all and tell you good morning like Blender normally does on his 11 o'clock show. I don't nearly have that energy at 10:30 in the morning in the East Coast, 7:30 in the West Coast. Good morning, West Coast. We got some morning baseball. We got some afternoon baseball. 12:10 lock time. So we're here all the way up to the bell. We're going to be handing off to the Crunch Time crew. You got TJ, you got Dave Potts, CheeseIsGood, Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. Jumping in about, I guess they'll be coming in around, let's do some math here, 11:30-ish, 11:35. But for the next hour or so, it's myself. Well, Blender, your voice, it got saved today. You didn't have to scream to the people the good morning, so you're welcome.
Well, I also had to get up a half an hour early, so I don't care. I don't feel like screaming. I feel, why am I the only one without facial hair on this broadcast? I mean, but I haven't done Grinders Live in a while because it's only when we have these early slates. But Dean, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, thanks for supporting the shows. Appreciate it. I told Grant I would give him. He's got a wedding coming up. Grant's a friend of mine. I'm going, and I'm going to give him an additional gift. But one gift I'm giving him is a mustache. Like not literally, but like I'm growing one for him. It's
a cheap gift. So basically, you're giving him a cheap gift.
Well, no. I'm going to trust me. I'm going to cover the cost of the food. I'm not that guy. I'm absolutely going to be. I'm not going to be a net negative. I don't want to be that guy. Like because they talk. Like if I haven't. You've been married before, Blender. I don't know if you had like a big shindig or you just went down to the courthouse or not. But what everybody gave you. Like these things are accounted for, and then you think of them differently, better or worse, going forward. I imagine. Yes.
I think of everyone horribly, so it doesn't matter what they give me. I don't like these people to begin with. The fact that they gave me anything, they give me $5. I don't give me a mustache. I don't mind.
Well, so I've had friends get married, and like they would say amongst our friends in our circle, like, could you believe it? So and so like stiffed me. I'm like, what? And like this is the whole thing. And now I think differently of that person. Like, how do you go to a wedding and not give a gift? It wasn't not even like if you want to make the destination excuse, it wasn't even that. But yeah, I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to cover the cost. Whatever the whole deal. Why not? But I don't know, Tim. You have thoughts on this? I assume if you go to a wedding, you're going to give a gift, right? Of an appropriate.
Of course, yeah. You always have to have a gift for a wedding. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So yeah, it's not just going to be the stupid must, and it's just I'm committed to this dumb bit, and like I'm pot committed. Basically, is the point. And
I listen to Grinders Live on the app, so I never actually visually see what's going on, and that's why you came on. I'm like, what's going on?
Well, some people bring it up, and like maybe you can't. What is it? Theater of the mind, radio or podcast? I suppose. I guess you never really envisioned what's going on here, but it's kind of a disaster. And it's just funky with the colors, but that's just sort of where we're at, and. I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll figure it out. People are probably tired of me, and I don't bring it up, but everybody else has to. Oh my God, what's going? And I understandably so. It's probably shocking. I'm adjusting to it. I still see myself in the mirror though. I'm like, whoa, how is this me? It's odd. I feel like I Freaky Friday with somebody, but nope, it's just been me the whole time. Tim, how are you? I don't know. Tim's got a nice beard. Nobody even comments on that.
That's just it's my standard look though, Dean. That's why. People are used to it at this point.
Life is about expectations. I expect you to show up with a nice solid beard.
Right.
It's not surprising or shocking in any way. We were just talking about this pre-show. We have is it 6-game slate on DK, 7 on Fanduel, I believe. Fanduel, of course, is including a game with more pitchers, which pitching is nice because it's kind of a barren on DK, where DK you get a roster 2. And the options are not as good. On FanDuel, you got a roster 1, and they're giving you Robbie Ray versus the A's and Montas on the other side as well. We were running down some of the players that are not playing baseball today. No Brandon Belt, no Acuna. That's the big one. No Acuna starting today. Riley as well. And Atlanta was one of my favorite stacks. I'm sure a lot of people as well. And how much of a hit does that stack take? And again, it's kind of tricky because Wood's a pretty good pitcher, but it's hot and there's a lot of reasons why Atlanta look pretty appealing. But for you, Tim, or let's just do the overview first. Let's kind of dive in and give the overview as far as the slate. One of the more interesting games we kind of talked about pre-show was Hunter Green against the Dodgers. We expect the Dodgers to be very popular, but Hunter Green's also a guy that can strike out 12. He could strike out 7 and give up 4 homers. He can do both. That's another thing that can happen.
Yeah. I was saying to you guys pre-show, like the Dodgers are going to be extremely chalky on FanDuel, but if I was multi-entering today, I certainly would have both sides of that game because Hunter Green has such a wide range every single time he goes out, and that's exactly what you want in GPPs. So if the Dodgers are going to be as popular as I think they're going to be, then I would definitely try to have some shares of Green if you're in the 20 max or more pool.
By the way, TJ in chat says, "What are you getting me for my wedding?" Now, come on, I wasn't invited. If I was invited and I can't make it, and I presume the wedding is in Saskatoon, which is not exactly around the corner for me. It's a big, not like an Uber ride away. So, but like, am I supposed to get him something now? Because like, I was never invited.
Dean, he's very big into superheroes, so just say you're going to get him an invisible gift.
Well, I mean, look, give me the invite, and of course, and you invite somebody knowing there's no chance they're going to go, and hey, maybe they'll give me something because there's no way I'm going to go. I can't go. I can't make it. I'm already going to one wedding in a few weeks, and I think he's getting married soon as well. Now he's saying all 3 of us are invited. Those are not official invites. That is just asking for money, essentially. That's a roundabout
What's
way.
wrong with Dean? What's wrong with? I'd rather him just come straight out and say, "I really don't want you guys at my wedding, but if you want to send me money, I'd gladly accept it."
I would respect that, but you know what? He didn't do that. Now he's saying and who invites somebody in a wedding in a YouTube chat? Like is there a worse way to invite somebody? Give me a picture. Give me something. Give me an evite. Give me something like that. That's not an official invite. I refuse to accept that. So ask me for my address, and then we can do it. Then maybe I'll send you something. I don't know, but I'm going to send at least 1 penny more than Blender sends you. So
then you're sending him a penny.
What is your PayPal, TJ? And you guys know what he did yesterday? You probably don't know. You guys aren't aware of this. You mentioned superheroes in a way to get likes, and this is going to set a precedent that might be dangerous. We hit a certain like goal. I think it was 150 or so. Oh, now he's dropping his registry in chat. Now I feel like I'm a jerk if I don't get him something. Unbelievable. Really, you just want the money, right?
A wedding gift? Why? I'm going to get him Static Shock, the complete 4th season. That's a wedding gift? What kind of crap is this? Wedding gifts are supposed to be stuff that you could use for the house. I mean, half the stuff here, some of them is like pots and pans. Okay, I get that. But why am I getting you a retro handheld game console with protector case, portable video system? Why am I getting you a Nintendo? These aren't wedding gifts.
I want to talk about the slate. I swear I do. But I also want to go gift by gift, everything that's on his registry. And this is amazing. What's on here? Is a ping pong table?
A bass guitar amplifier? What is this? Disney Enchanto, the motion picture soundtrack? Okay, Bed Bath & Beyond. I get it. These are wedding gifts. But video game controllers? Get out of here.
Wait, Disney Encanto? That's going to be on Disney Plus in a day. Why would you buy that? What's the point?
Well, it's the motion picture soundtrack.
Oh, it's the soundtrack. Okay. Yeah. This is amazing. He's got a variety of PlayStation 5 joysticks, controllers that he wants us. 540 poop bags? That's a gift for his dog, kind of, sort of, I guess. What a wild registry. I feel like Trivial Pursuit, decades. All right, that's a good. What's more romantic than Trivial Pursuit? This is a fascinating registry. I love it. It's you ever make one of these before? No, Blender. I've never made a registry before.
No. I even for our wedding, I don't think we had a register. I think pretty much just give us money. It's very simple. Just feel free to just here's a check. Here's a box. Or we did it through some site. I mean, there's some honey. No. We did. You could donate to our honeymoon. That's what we did. We did a honey fund. I believe that's the site that's called.
Exactly. Yeah. So Grant had a registry as well, and I clicked all through it, and then a lot of them already picked. And then I saw it said donate to the honeymoon fund, and I'm like, oh, And then I asked him, Grant, you just want money, right? He's like, yeah, that's fine. Of course, that's what you want.
Where are the poop bags? Someone said there's poop bags here.
There's a whole bunch. There's like over 500. Like that dog's gonna be doing a lot of pooping. But
where is it? I don't even see it.
I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna find through it. But we have to talk today's baseball slate, Blender, and I'm sure you have some strong takes because,
$23.99. I see Ying Delay dog poop bags, biodegradable. I'm gonna buy this.
You're buying the poop bags?
I'm buying the poop. I'm buying the poop bags for TJ.
How much do they cost? Now,
$23.99.
How much?
$23.99. Do I have to buy it through Amazon Canada?
Oh, that's Canadian money. That's like $12 in American. Tim, now do we feel like big jerks for not buying him anything?
I mean, I'm going to consider buying him something. I got to look through this registry.
I feel like I got to buy him something now too. But I'm not buying I'm not buying a DVD you can watch like tomorrow. Well, I guess that's the soundtrack, but whatever. But all right, well, maybe we'll find something. Oh, there's the poop bags. Yeah, $24. You're gonna get them, so you're gonna beat me to it. Fair enough. All right. But yesterday,
I need their shipping address. What are you making me do all this crap for?
We don't have his. No. I assume that they keep the address private and like they.
No, you take it. It's Saskatoon. You continue to. Oh no! I have to do all of this. You're making it too hard.
The Encanto soundtrack is for Ava, who I presume is his fiance. All right. So I wonder how she took yesterday's show because, again, what I was getting at is TJ committed to getting his first ever tattoo, a Spider-Man tattoo. If you got a certain number of likes, are you, Tim? Are you willing to set the precedent now, or to continue with that?
No.
How many likes for you to get a tattoo or something?
Well, I already have a few tattoos, so I'm not gonna get any more though.
All right, you're good.
I'm good.
How about Blender?
What are you talking about? I'm in the middle of buying poop bags, Dean.
Oh my god, we could buy. He wants a TV, a 65-incher for $961. They're cheaper than that. He wants the Sony. Look at this guy. He wants the name brands. All right. Let's talk today's slate, Blender. I know you're in the middle of trying to buy yourself some poop bags, which is a sentence I did not anticipate that I would be saying today. Thank you for hanging with us, chat. We do appreciate it. Again, it's a 6-7 game slate, depending on where you're shopping, and we're here till 12:10. 12:10 on the East Coast, so an hour and a half, plenty of time to knock out today's slate. Do kindly hit that like button, despite the fact we're not doing anything for it. We're not getting tattoos. We're not getting anything goofy, far as I know. Nobody's willing to make a commitment to the show. But and subscribe, turn those notifications as well. Give me the overview, Blender. You always give a good overview because you tend to have a pretty good 30,000 foot view of this slate. It's a little bit different on Fanduel where the pitching is better and you roster less of them. But give me the screenshot. What are we looking at?
I think the high level thing is that the Dodgers are chalk, and everything that you decide is based around that. Are you going to play the Dodgers in any capacity? So either as a stack, either as one-offs. I think the pitching is distributed enough that there are places to go, right? On FanDuel, you can play Wright, you can play Kershaw, you can play Ray, you can play some of the cheaper pitching. You can. And same for DraftKings. You have to play two, but, it's not going to be like a chalk combination. I think, we may have the chalk combination, maybe something like Wright. You could probably jam in Kershaw and Wright together, but I think there'll be enough, Quintana, Garrett. You could play Alex Wood. You could Kyle Freeland, even Justin Steele. There's stuff around for an SP2. But to me, everything, the be-all, end-all is the Dodgers. So, from my purposes in GPP, you know what I like doing, especially when the slate is smaller, which it is today, is you just X out the Dodgers. And then once you X out the Dodgers, especially if you're playing small field GPPs, once you X out the Dodgers, build whatever lineup you want. At that point, you don't need enough. You don't need to worry about leverage. You don't need to worry about nothing. If you have no Dodgers in your lineup, you're fine. And I think
what about double leverage? Not to cut you off. What about double leverage of playing Hunter Green? Because if the Dodgers aren't doing well, it's certainly possible it's because Hunter Green, who's got electric stuff, He's got a phenomenal arsenal. His Ks are great, 30.1%. He walks too many guys, almost 10% walks this season. The homers are a problem, 2.35 homers per 9. The fly balls are a massive problem, 56% fly balls. It's not even like crazy homer in the fly ball nonsense. 18.3% is his homer in the fly ball rate, and that's higher than league average. But he also, throws baseballs in the Great American Ballpark there in Cincinnati. Like if the Dodgers are held down, and a lot of times people always say that, well, I'm just going to play the pitcher against them, and if that team doesn't do well, leverage. Well, many times it's just like the middle. The pitcher doesn't do spectacular, right? He goes like 5 innings and strikes out 4, and gives up a couple runs and whatever. And the offense doesn't do anything, and it's just none of it's spectacular, and that's the middle ground. But this feels like high variance spots both ways, where the Dodgers can put up 4 homers, or Green can strike out 8 to 9 Dodgers. Of course, both can happen as well, which is phenomenal. But so if you're not playing Dodgers, and that's what it sounds like you're doing, and I respect that, and I think it'll be even more popular in FanDuel, like you were talking about pre-show, partially because of prices too.
But I think there's a difference between FanDuel and DraftKings when it comes to doing that strategy. I think that's much more likely to play Hunter Green on DraftKings than I am on FanDuel, because whenever we say, okay, what happens if the Dodgers don't do well? It's like when it comes to GPPs, when you fade, if I'm fading the Dodgers stack, let's say I'm fading it, and that people are playing the Dodgers stack, the Dodgers could put up 4 or 5 runs on Hunter Green, and the stack still fails. Like the Dodgers are getting points, but they're not getting enough that it matters. It's like, okay, so maybe Trey Turner does have 14 points, but it's not like, well, you can find another shortstop that has 14 points. So when we say that the Dodgers fail, it doesn't mean they score nothing. So the Dodgers could score 5 runs off of Green, and Green is dead. Green is sitting there with 6 points, maybe 8 points, because he does have some strikeouts. So he's not good enough in your pitcher slot anyway. And that's especially true on FanDuel, where you only have one pitcher anyway. So for you to play Hunter Green on FanDuel, you're essentially saying that Hunter Green is most likely going to be the highest scorer on the slate, which is possible, and the Dodgers fail completely. On DraftKings, at least where you have to play 2 pitchers, like if you have an SP2 that only has 10 points or something because the Dodgers put up 3 or 4 runs, that's survivable. But on a 1-pitcher site, I mean, if Hunter Green only scores like 24 points on FanDuel, like easily, Kyle Wright could put up 50. Robbie Ray could put up 50. Like you're like you would need the Dodgers to like get shut out to have Hunter Green go 6 or 7 innings with 8 to 10 strikeouts, which obviously is possible. So I'm much more likely to attempt that as an SP, when you have to play 2 pitchers rather than just 1.
How are you handling the Dodgers and the Green situation, Tim? And I know you focus on one lineup. You make yourself one lineup, and that's that. And you got to make a bold stand. And it's kind of dicey to make a stand on a guy like Hunter Green in your one lineup, and that's where your day lies. That's a big risk reward. What's your approach?
Yeah, well, in my one lineup on each side, I'm not going to pitch Green, but I do think I'm going to fade the Dodgers just because I tend to try to get off the chalkiest stack on small slates. So I think that for my bats anyway, I'm not going to play Dodgers, but I'm also not going to play Hunter Green. That's for me, my risk tolerance, that's too much for one lineup.
Yeah, he feels more like large field as opposed to playing, the single entry 400 people or something like that.
I mean, like I said before, if I was multi-entering, he would definitely be in the pool. But for me, in one lineup, I can't do it.
Let's just knock this out. You're playing on FanDuel as well. And FanDuel, again, distinctly different in that obviously you're only rostering 1 pitcher. But today, FanDuel decided to include the late game, the Seattle-Oakland game, 3:37 on the East Coast. And it's more or less a pitcher's duel, right? The 2 best pitchers, I think probably the 2 best options, and like ownership's reflecting that as well. Robbie Ray at 10K is getting 37% ownership against the absolutely putrid Oakland Athletics. Montas is 9.8, grabbing 26%. And then like fully priced Kershaw is getting 6%. Quintana is a salary saver. If you want to get loaded up on some bats at 7%. Kyle Wright at 10%, which just feels uncomfortable at 10.5. We've seen him have some big games, but yeah, your approach on FanDuel, and then we'll talk about guys, or I don't think you're messing with Braxton Garrett or Kyle Freeland or probably not even Justin Steele on FanDuel. I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah. So if I knew Kershaw was going to get to 91 to 95 pitches, I would probably play Kershaw over Montas and Ray. But I don't necessarily trust the Dodgers. I think Kershaw pitched 81 pitches last game or something like that.
Yeah.
If I knew he was going to get to 10 to 15 more, like most starters coming off injury would, then I probably would go to Kershaw. But knowing the Dodgers' history, that feels like a little bit of a gamble. So I'm not completely decided if I'm going to fade Kershaw or not. But if I fade him, I'm probably going to go Robbie Ray on FanDuel.
And the thing with Kershaw is, again, you're more likely to play him on DK because you don't have the option of playing Montas or Ray. And Kershaw is just the best guy. And he probably throws 84, 85, somewhere around there. I wouldn't think he goes much beyond 90. Facing all righties for what it's worth. It's an all righty lineup for Cincinnati today. Tough ballpark as well. But, that lineup's not terribly imposing either.
No Buxton, by the way. Just heads up.
Really? Oh, I said pre-show, why I can't imagine he wouldn't play because he didn't play yesterday. He's not playing again today? That's weird. They've been managing him because he's, has an injury fragility history, I suppose, but is he legit hurt? That's odd. I did not think he was actually injured, unless I missed something.
That lineup just looks so bad without him in it. It looks so ugly.
Let's see. Is Miranda in it? Who's in the lineup today?
Yeah, Miranda. Right. You got on the bottom. It's the top four is normal: Kirilloff, Urshela, Larnach, Miranda, Gordon.
Yeah, Kirilloff was one of those cheapies I kind of like. Arise, Correa, I think another well-positioned player, and reverse splits on the other side. Sanchez is a good cheapie on FanDuel, especially. And, if you have money as a spend up for catcher on DK, I'm good with that. Is something wrong with Buxton?
Something's always wrong with Buxton.
Okay, so they're saying he's day-to-day with a what are they? He's got knee soreness. Okay, I guess I just missed that. But I just assumed it was a typical, they give the NBA guys, knee soreness, that kind of thing, But okay, just to give him a day off. But I guess that, does that change things as far as rostering the Cleveland pitcher today? Because I'm not making enough lineups to consider Zach Plesac. Yeah, and Tim, you said it makes that Minnesota lineup look distinctly worse. Of course it does, right?
Yeah, but it makes it cheaper to stack, though.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay up for Buxton. That's a lot of times that's how I view it. Even though Buxton may not be in. I still have no problem targeting against Plesac. So now you're getting a even cheaper
for a rise.
Well, you don't play him.
He does have 4 homers this year, which is, I think, already surpassed what he has last season.
The Guardians lineup is out.
Anything goofy?
A little bit. No,
little bit.
They're facing a lefty, so you're gonna see the righties in the lineups.
Yeah.
So one of the best cheapies in the slate, at least what I was doing as far as the rankings earlier before the show, is Franmil Reyes is really, really cheap. And okay, he's batting 5th.
He's also horrible. But essentially with Reyes, you're getting 5 strikeouts or a home run.
He's the Hunter Green of hitters. Yeah.
He's the Joey Gallo of hitters.
Yeah. But that's what you want, right? You want the guys that have the ability to hit 2 home runs. He hit one dead center the other day, banged one out. And he's obviously been out with injury a good period. He's super cheap. He's a flat out punt, and he's also in that territory of Kirilloff. Kirilloff is another guy that I think is because salary. There's not a lot of great salary prices on FanDuel. I'm sorry, on DK. FanDuel, there's some that are just wrong. Bellinger's really cheap.
Well, Dean, what I think is going to happen now, I just noticed it.
Yeah.
Acuna is not in the lineup for the Braves. Buxton's not in the lineup for the Twins. So, if you just take a look salary-wise, we're going to see a lot of Trey Turner, a lot of Freddie Freeman.
Yeah.
A lot of Will Smith. And then Jose Ramirez at third base at $6K. Like, I just look at this and I go, like, these higher price, especially, like, look at the outfield. Who do we have highest priced in the outfield? Tommy
Yeah,
Pham.
who's the big outfield spin? I was going to say, because if you're without Acuna and you're without Buxton, who's like the next big spin in the outfield? Like
Tommy
yesterday,
Pham is 5,300. Dean, you gonna do it against Clayton Kershaw?
I mean, yeah, I don't want to. I understand, like he's got some power, I suppose, but no, like I don't want to play
Kepler and Yelich in the mid range, like 4,700, 4,600. All I'm saying is that the dynamics we're pricing. If you're playing, especially on FanDuel, okay, let me highlight for FanDuel. If you're playing large field contests on FanDuel, if you want to leave 3,000 on the table, do it. You're not going to be able to unless you're playing the Dodgers. You're not going to be able to. Let's say on FanDuel you wanted to play a 4-4 lineup with the Marlins and the Brewers or something and you play for the highest priced pitcher, you still may have to leave more than 1,000 on the table. So like if you're building in lineup HQ, like get that min salary threshold way down because you're just not going to be able to make those combinations. Or if you play a 4-3-1 or you have one-offs in your lineup, it's just going to basically, I could see just jamming in Turner and Rodriguez and Freddie Freeman into like almost all of your lineups because you could spend all the money you want on this slate in one-off positions like that, which will mean that those guys are going to be way overowned. And the difference between them and leaving like imagine at first base, instead of playing Freddie Freeman, you play CJ Cron, who's not like a great play at 5K against Garrett in Miami.
He's fine.
But he's fine. But I mean, Freeman's going to be like 400% more owned. So like feel free to leave the 900 in that spot as a one-off. Obviously, if you're stacking the Dodgers, you play Freeman. But like understand those dynamics at third base. Like if you don't play Jose Ramirez, it's like, okay, you got Nolan Arenado. Max Muncy's obviously eligible at third as well. But like, who says Brian Hayes? Or like you Gio Urshela, Vio. I mean, feel free to build your lineup, plug that 6K guy in, the Ramirez, the Turner, and then just take that guy out and put, the next highest projected guy in, even if you're leaving 1,200 on the table, because it's not needed. Like, so don't consider salary to be that much of a constraint today.
By the way, Atlanta, no surprise, especially in the afternoon. Awesome hitting weather, 92, and it's also dead center. 11 miles per hour. There's no historical data on this, which is wild. I know the ballpark's only been around for like 5 years or so, but according to Weather Edge, like there's nothing getting pushed out. But it's good hitting weather, and Ross said that much. But again, for some reason, we have nothing to point to in previous games. Pretty neutral in Pittsburgh, according to Weather Edge. Kind of strange in Minnesota. It's not a huge sample, 22 games. But like a downgrade of 20% in homers, but also it's getting the fire emoji. And I lean on the fire emoji as opposed to the 22-game sample. Is that what you do to him as well? Because, 22 games, whatever, not a monster sample. But you're showing me the fire emoji, and that to me outweighs, maybe some variance in a 22-game sample as far as homers.
Yeah, I mean, just use common sense. I mean, if it's hot out there, wind's blowing out or across, I mean, it's probably going to be good hitting weather. So, I mean, even if it's not the biggest sample size, like I'm still fine with it.
Wind's blowing out a bit to left at 10 to 15 miles per hour as far as Minnesota. And Roth did note very solid hitting weather in Atlanta, despite the fact that Weather Edge just doesn't really recognize what's going on there. Man, if the Dodgers are like crazy chalk, I think that you guys are right. You're supposed to get away from it. And, we're obviously on the fly figuring out ownership stuff, and Buxton had like 30% ownership. Of course, that's gonna get delegated somewhere. I didn't see yesterday, but like Judge was like one of the last outfielders standing. He was like in the worst position. Of course, he banged out a couple homers. But that's like where some people probably pivoted. They weren't necessarily on, but he was behind. Some of the guys didn't end up playing. Kepler's, I'm just looking at FanDuel, by the way. Like Kepler's 2.5, which is really cheap. Soler as well. The ballpark's not great, but when he gets a hold of it, who cares? He's cheap on both sites. It was like 4K on DK, but on FanDuel at 2.8. I'm curious, where are you at Blender as far as it sounds like you're making the stand. You're just not going to play the Dodgers. You got to play somebody. You can't just say I'm not playing them. Who are we loading up on? Are you making a bunch of lineups? You got to spreading out outside of the Dodgers. What's the strategy?
No, I'm not building a whole bunch of lineups. I play 2 lineups on each site. If you've been watching the pregame show, I'm doing something a little bit different than I've normally done. So like I'm trying to exploit the field in kind of like triple ups and boosters and quintuple ups, and that's like one type of lineup, 3-man, 5-man lineups, and then I'm building like a single entry small field, stuff for like the 100-mans types of contests, maybe 1,000, and doing the same on FanDuel. So I'll only be playing one GPP lineup on both sites.
Yeah.
I plan on Xing out the Dodgers, and then whatever happens, happens. I'm looking to target the Guardians and the Cardinals the most. We'll get to that in a second. I think an interesting on DraftKings. This is I think DraftKings only. I think the Quintana Cubs dynamic is very high variance. Okay, I think Quintana could do very well against the Cubs. The Cubs could also do very well against Quintana, and I think on DraftKings, Quintana is a well projected by the bat. The bat always loves Quintana. So I expect his ownership on DraftKings not to be high, but to be significant enough that the Cubs ownership starts going down. So you get a minor leverage point there. So I can understand you playing Quintana as like an SP2 and also playing the Cubs on the other side. Obviously not in the same lineup. So if you want to take advantage on DraftKings of a little bit more leverage than you normally get, I think the Cubs are good plays in that extent. But I think I'm more likely to play Quintana because I'm more likely to fade Kershaw on DraftKings for pitch count purposes. So I'm going to need someone like Quintana anyway. But then outside of that, I think the next 2 best stacks from a ceiling perspective are the Guardians and the Cardinals. We haven't talked about the Cardinals at all.
No, no lineup just yet, right?
Right, and obviously the more that we don't have a lineup yet because it's a 2:00 game, the less and less owned they're probably going to be. But I don't really outside of who's going to catch. I don't necessarily. Maybe one of the outfielders. Whether or not
Goldie's been dealing with a back. Like he missed a day with the back yesterday. Of course, he homered. I think he DH'd yesterday, but that might be something. But he hit a homer with his back, so I guess he's fine. But I don't know. It's possible to give him a day. But yeah, it's we're projecting Ivan Herrera. Day game after the night. Getting the. What's his name? Kniezer, I guess, will get a day off. That's our projection as of right now, but I don't know how much that moves. Herrera's 2K catcher, like as a flat out punt. Maybe that's could be useful. I'm not sure if there's a 2K catcher yet, to be honest. I don't think so. Oh, I'm sorry. I was looking at FanDuel prices. I don't know if he's
I think Luke Molly is he's 2.3K for the Guardians.
Well, you were trashing Franmil Reyes. You're gonna play him now.
Well, it's so cheap. Why not? But I mean, I could see myself. I mean, because the positions on the Guardians always are great because they multi-position. You get multiple people. I mean, Owen Miller first, second, Rosario short, Ramirez at third. You got Gonzalez and Reyes in the outfield. You could always play Jimenez, right? The Miles Straw on the bottom. So I mean, like it's very affordable to play just literally just play 1 to 5. You're filling in like 3 infield spots, 2 outfield spots, and you're not really spending that much because Gonzalez and Reyes are cheap. So, like, why aren't I playing against Devin Smeltzer?
They were my favorite, stack. That's not the Dodgers. That's who I'm likely stacking in my single entry team are the Guardians. I think that they have a 4.7 total. I want to stack against a guy like Smeltzer. So I think that because I kind of want to double pay up at pitching today, like with Wright and Kershaw. That way I don't have to deal with that Quintana ownership. I think that projection is extremely fragile. So I'd rather double pay up for pitching today.
Oh man, Wright at 9.9 is a little tricky. It's a little dicey, and like there's not a lot of great. Wright's been good for what it's worth. I guess I still not. He was once a big time prospect. He kind of struggled. And now he's kind of like been much better this year, obviously. So maybe I shouldn't be poo-pooing too much. I don't really like picking on the Giants a ton either, and of course that ballpark's not great to pitch in either. Is that all? I guess that's also a sentiment that you don't really want
Well,
33% ownership of Quintana. You think that's bad chalk? I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not crazy about it. Like, I think we just had an update because Garrett is now 30% owned. Quintana is 23 and Steele is 18.
All those names are uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. So, I mean, I'm just not. I think that if I can find a stack like the Guardians that are cheap enough, I'm going to try to get the raw points out of double barrel pitching on DK.
Yeah, we got Kershaw at almost 50% on DK, 10.2K, and we're guessing around 85 pitches or so. But again, you have no Robbie Ray, you have no Montas to lean on, and you got to roster two of these guys. Right at 9.9 is getting 38% ownership, Quintana 33. Braxton Garrett, like Marlins prospects, 5'4", he's protected by that ballpark. They don't push him very hard either. That's just a salary thing, basically. And
I think on this slate, Dean, it's not going to come down to pitching. I think Tim's point is that when he mentioned raw points, so we're playing pitching. What he's planning on doing is paying up twice for the raw points. So like Kershaw and Wright are probably the safest, have the narrowest distribution at like 15 or so points. So 15 to 17-ish points. Can you get that? I don't think any pitcher on the slate gets 30 points. I don't think we're on that type of slate.
I agree with that completely.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're going to play Garrett and Quintana, they're much cheaper than Kershaw and Wright, and they could score just as much as Kershaw and Wright, but their range of outcomes is way wider. Quintana could score -4. Garrett could score who knows what. I mean, so it's like even though the medians of Garrett and Quintana are comparable to some extent to Kershaw and Wright for way cheaper, if you don't need the salary, remember, we're talking about no Acuna, no Buxton. Like, if you don't play the Dodgers, like, where are you spending that salary? Why don't you just spend it either for raw points or just for narrow distribution of outcomes, which is much better at doing so at pitcher, right? Like, yeah, Kershaw may only pitch 85 pitches. But if he goes 5 innings with 5 strikeouts and 1 hit, there's, he 2 hits, 1 run, 6 strikeouts, and gets the win and scores 18 points. It's like he may be the highest scoring pitcher on the slate. So why wouldn't you just have 10.2K rather than leave 2,500 on the table to stack the Guardians with the Cardinals and then leave money? Like, you understand what I'm saying? It's that from a point per dollar value, I'm not a big fan of Kershaw and Wright, but from a not getting ulcers perspective, like to me that's a safer way to 15 points than having to rely on Jose Quintana whether or not he's going to walk 4 or 5 guys.
I was gonna say that, like, points per dollar wise, like Kershaw, Wright, they're probably not good plays, but given the context of the slate is why I'm going to do double barrels.
The only counter to that is you're talking about how, like, there's no way to really spend on. There's a lot of players that are just really that are expensive and they're not great. Like Dansby Swanson's leading off, he's 5.6K. Edmonds over 5K. Just kind of scrolling on through.
Brandon Drury against Kershaw. How do you not do that at
5.4? Get out of town. John Birdie. We were talking about this pre-show. John Birdie is a guy like I would punt with. I mean, you hope for a couple steals. He's had a couple homers this year as well. He's 4.7 though. Like, get out of town.
And Luis Arias is 5.2.
Yeah, like this is so the counter to that is that, okay, I can't play these great hitters. I'll save some salary, but wait a second, all these guys, not all of them, obviously, and then the projections are going to pump out guys like Franmil Reyes and guys probably like Kirilov, right? But there's a lot of guys that seem overpriced. This is kind of the point I'm making as well. Some of the Marlins are kind of cheap. Like Aguiar is 2.6 on DK, which on Fanduel that he's like 2.7 or 2.9 or something like that. I don't think there's a lot of good values just as a general thought on this slate. You got to spend the salary as you have it. You don't have to spend it, but you might as well for the most part. But there's not a lot of screaming values just as a general thought in this slate, Tim. DK specific Fanduel again, like Muncie's too cheap, like Bellinger seems too cheap. There's a couple other guys. I mean, O'Neal Cruz, I've been excited about the last few days. The whole world has, it seems. But, left on left is a little bit trickier. He's not leading off today, and he's facing a guy with a pretty good split. Much tougher on lefties as opposed to righties. So, I've subdued my excitement about O'Neal Cruz for a day.
You're looking for some value on DK, you said?
Just anywhere. DK
Why
specific.
do you need value, though? What we have nothing to spend it on.
Well, if you're spending it on two pitchers, right? Okay. So you're spending it on Kershaw and Wright, theoretically. Now you got 3.7 and change to spend. Will Smith, you want Will Smith? He's 5.4. You only get one or two big bats when you have 3.7. Maybe only one. Is that your one big stand? Well, I know you guys don't want to play the Dodgers for reasons, so it's not him. But okay, let's pivot to Gary Sanchez. Oh, he's 4.7. Now he's 2.5 on Fanduel. That's great. Love that.
I'll tell you how I started my DK lineup. It's Wright and Kershaw, and then I went Framil Reyes, and then I went Jose Ramirez.
Okay, so we're not going to build a lineup, but now we're at 3.5. And
right.
You're kind of sort of building organically. You're making yourself a Cleveland stack. So how married do you want to get the Cleveland?
Right, but I mean, there's plenty of cheap enough bats to do that. You could do like a Twins little mini stack also. I mean, they're super cheap. I really like, if this Steele, kind of like Blender said, this Steele Quintana situation in this Pirates Cubs game, all these bats are, except for Contreras, are really, really affordable. So Quintana and Steele are gonna have some ownership. So you're gonna get some leverage playing any of these Cubs bats, like Yan Gomes batting 5th, 2,700 on DK.
Okay.
Take a look at the Pirates on the
Is
other
that one of your
side.
favorite bats?
Diego Castillo is 2,500 at shortstop.
Well, yeah, we could just name players that are terrible at baseball that are cheap, and they'll be holding a stick of, a piece of wood, and they'll take their chances. But, yeah, of course, there's not you don't wake up this morning, Blender, and say, you know what, I want to buy some poop bags and roster Diego Castillo. You didn't say that.
Maybe I did.
Definitely not. Wait, somebody tuned in 5 minutes ago. What is the reference to poop? What? Why would you want to wake up and do that? I don't believe you did, though. I'm going to call BS if you say you did. You don't want to roster Diego Castillo.
No, I think I was more likely to roster Diego Castillo this morning when I woke up than buy poop bags.
Yeah. I mean, it's a non-zero chance that you wanted to roster yourself some Diego Castillo.
No, but when we're talking about cheap bats, we're doing it so you could fit other stuff in. Like Diego Castillo at shortstop, if that allows you to get a Cardinal stack, 5-man Cardinal stack, especially when they don't really have a shortstop to fit in that lineup. And why not? It's a 6-game slate. We're not talking about a third. How many options do you have? So if you're playing that type of lineup and you'd rather punt. See, to me, I'd rather punt like that at a position like shortstop than a position like outfield. Because outfield, there's a lot more, you could roster 3 of them.
Outfield's not even loaded there. What's the opportunity cost in outfield today?
Only because there's a lot more outfielders. You get a 0 from an outfielder. That sucks. At shortstop, if Trey Turner doesn't do anything, who knows that? And Carlos Correa doesn't do anything. Maybe Diego Castillo with 7 points or something. He gets a RBI double. That's good enough. That's fine. He's batting 3rd, so he's most likely to get 4 at bats. So 4 or 5 at bats. He's facing Steele. I'm not trying to tout Diego Castillo. I'm just touting the lineup construction of the weakest position. If you're not going to pay up at the weakest position, why not just find the green check mark or whatever and pay for the cheapest guy, even if it's just a one-off just to punt there.
You have to take risks in DFS. You can't just roster all the guys that you want. So I mean, you can't
just buy all the poop bags. You have
you have to throw in a
salary cap.
You have to throw in a poop bag every now and again. I mean, you really have to. So it's not like
poop bags though. When Diego Castillo, and then all of a sudden, some other cheapies that are going to pop up on your Yan Gomes is a poop bag. Come on,
but catcher sucks.
But catcher,
I understand. Let me ask you this: anybody want to answer this one? Give me the outfielder. Give me the long list of outfielders you're frightened of not having on your roster today.
It's not being frightened of, Dean. It's just that there's a lot more of them. So we have 12 teams that are playing like 3 outfielders each. So there's 36 outfielders. And who knows what happens? Guillermo Heredia has a double dong game. We have no clue. So there's 3 spots that fit in your lineup at shortstop and catcher. Like there may only be like 10 people, 10 to 12 available there. And you could only roster 1. So like those are the weak positions, catcher and shortstop on this slate. If you're not going to pay up for Contreras or Trey Turner, or Correa maybe, why play a $3,800 shortstop that ain't that much better than Diego Castillo?
Yeah, I guess I'm just sort of saying that I'm willing to take more chances in the outfield. I feel better about let me rank. Let's look at this. Raw points for hitters. How many until we get to an outfielder? Let's see. Freeman, Turner, Muncy. Are these all Dodgers? Jesus. Freeman, Turner, Muncy, Will Smith, J. Ram, Bellinger is like the 8 hitter. Is like the 7th ranked raw points guy. Goldie, Contreras, Kepler, Ozuna. All right. Geez.
Well, wouldn't you feel much like Dean? If you had a choice of two one-offs, would you mean for the context of the slate? Would you we're going to take away Trey Turner because let's say you're fading the Dodgers?
Sure.
Correa as a one-off, alongside Lars Nootbaar, or alongside.
You had me at Correa, you lost me at Nootbaar.
Right, but I'm just saying, the outfielder is some 2K outfielder. Or would you rather have Diego Castillo at shortstop and then Christian Yelich or Kepler or Ozuna in the outfield? It's just like most of the time in the outfield slots, you're going to need double-digit points because there's just so many more outfielders available that could score well. While at shortstop and catcher, it's like, dude, would you rather have Wilson Contreras and Lars Nootbaar or Jan Gomes and an actual outfielder that's worth a crap? To me, that's such an easy choice.
Because I don't think there's a lot of actual outfielders. I don't think there's a lot of separation. It's just kind of the point. They're all kind of this. There's a certain amount in the bucket. It's a whole bunch in the bucket, and I'm happy to take any of them. But they make everything else.
You're telling me that Lars Nootbaar is
he's not in the bucket. He's not bucket worthy.
But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about 2,500 and under guys. We're not talking about 3,300, 3,500 outfielders. We're talking about the bottom of the barrel 2K type of guys.
I don't think I need to scrape it that much, though. I don't think I have to go that low. But
if you double barreling pitcher, you do.
This I see the chat talking about Montero for Colorado. It looks like he's making. Let's see. He's had 13 plate appearances so far for Colorado, drawing the 8th spot versus Braxton Garrett, who's not been spectacular. He is the 6th biggest prospect on the Rockies. Just trying to see what he's done in the minors. 13 homer. Let's see. AAA this year and 13 homers, 3 stolen, a little bit of stolen bases. Not really. I mean, he's a little bit of a prospect. The chat got me more excited. I thought he'd be better than what they're talking about, but whatever. He's cheap. If you need a flat out punt, I guess he's live, I guess. Tim, you answer that question. It sounds like you guys both disagree with me, which is fine. I like that.
Yeah, I would side on Blender with that argument for sure. It's you just have to get low sometimes. You have to take punts with some of these poop bags, like we said. So I mean, it's just we live in a world of salary cap, right, Dean?
I've heard that before, once or twice. The chat wants to talk about Braxton Garrett, and Eric's mentioned it. And I think he's actually live. Like, you could play Braxton Garrett because, like you just said, Tim, salary cap reasons. He's the cheapest guy. Now, this is a DK thing, not a Fanduel thing. There's no way in the world I'm rostering him on Fanduel, but he's 5'4" on DK. I don't think I'm getting to, if you're looking at the cheapies, I would play him ahead of Speltzer. I would play him ahead of Plesac, I think.
I play him over most of these pitchers, actually.
Freeland, I got ahead of him. I'll take Freeland ahead of him. Marlon's a little better against righties and lefties. And there's Steele. All this is nonsense. We typically don't want to.
I think just so people know, though, is that he's going to be popular. So it's not like he's going to be some low-owned cheap guy. He's going to be one of the most highly owned pitchers on the slate. I think that he's fine in any format. You could even play him in cash games if you really wanted to, but he's not going to be, unowned.
I think we had him around. Let's see. Obviously, we're tinkering with this stuff, and we're still an hour and so.
It's about 30. It's about 30%.
Man, that's a big number.
Yeah, he's currently our third highest owned pitcher. So he has pretty big negative leverage score in our Slate IQ. So I'm not saying not to play him, but I am saying that it's not gonna, you're gonna be with a lot of people on him.
So I think Garrett and Quintana on DraftKings are not sneaky cheap SP plays. Are they heavily owned? Maybe not heavily, but they're heavily enough owned that you could stack against them and get good leverage. But also they're not high enough owned where it's like you don't want to play them at all. So it's like that's why I consider those situations to be like I think I'm much less willing to play Colorado bats. I think I'm much more likely to stack Pittsburgh against Quintana and stack Colorado against Garrett in Miami because I think Colorado is a worse team. And yeah, I mean, if I'm going to stack between the two, I'd rather stack against Quintana. But in that lineup, I'd probably play the other pitcher, right? So in a lineup that I'm stacking Chicago against Quintana, I'd be playing Garrett plus one of the Kyle Wright or Kershaw, something like that.
I think we should mention both pitchers in that game, and we saw yesterday. Yesterday's just one game, but both pitchers in the the Atlanta San Francisco game. I think 10 plus Ks, and Atlanta will strike out plenty. And again, they're without Acuna, they're without Riley today. And Wood's a guy I woke up this morning. There's a sentence that I was not thinking about playing.
You woke up with Morning Wood.
I knew there was something just sitting there. I'm like, power on through, and I couldn't help myself but pause and acknowledge that it was a goofy sentence and poorly phrased. Could have been worse, thankfully. But San Fran and Atlanta are both running out lineups that are attackable. Atlanta, from a run prevention perspective, looks a little more appealing with the absence of two of their best hitters. And then San Fran has got, Slaters in there, right on right. 37% strikeouts. 37% striking out historically against righties in 149 at-bats. Pretty big sample last two seasons. That's a big boy number. And Casali is catching at 30%. Rough right on right, 31%. There are a lot of strikeouts in the San Fran lineup. This is kind of worth noting. I saw TJ talking about it. I'm pretty sure TJ is joining us in a few minutes. I want to say it's him and Dave Potts as well with Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth coming on in about 5 minutes, give or take, maybe 10 minutes, taking you guys home all the way up to Lock 1210 on the East Coast. But Tim, are we not talking about? I know Wright's been mentioned and he was like your double barrel guy, but Wood has been upgraded. You have to acknowledge that. And he's a little bit more appealing than he was so many minutes ago.
Are you saying the Wood has risen?
You know what? 6 to midnight. That's what they say, right?
For me, Wood's kind of in an awkward price point, which I guess would make him. Other people will feel that way. Like he's 14% owned, so he's fine for tournaments. I think he's kind of at this really, really awkward price, though. Like he's more expensive than, Steele, Quintana, Garrett, and then cheaper than Kershaw, right? So, I mean, I don't think, even with Acuna out, I don't think this is, and Riley, but I don't think this is that great of a spot for him. But certainly, he can certainly be in your pool for GPPs.
Thoughts, Wonder?
I mean, I'm not playing him. I mean, I think his upside is limited, but I mean, this is a pitching slate. I don't think any pitcher scores 20 points on DraftKings. So, I think more pitchers are in play than you think, even though it's like, Kershaw, Wright, Garrett, Quintana, and I don't want to play anyone else. Maybe Steele. But then you look at Wood and you go, can he get 12 points? I mean, that may be fine. I don't think that starting pitcher is going to be the determinant. Now, obviously, there's going to be a couple of starting pitchers that get blown up that, obviously have 2 points or something. But I just don't think a ceiling score out of any of these pitchers is going to make or break the slate. So if you're building a lineup, if you built a 5-3 or something on DraftKings, and it's okay, I need to fit in my last pitcher, and you only have 9,200 available, and then Wood's there, then fine. Yes, he projects a little bit lower than Kershaw and Wright, but not dramatically enough where it's I can't get to that. It's you're going to get an ownership discount. Should Wright be 36% and Wood be 14%? Should Wright be almost 3 times more owned than Wood?
Probably not.
Probably not. So I think you're fine. He's not an exciting option, but I mean, maybe he gives up 3 runs, he gets 4 strikeouts, he ends up with 9 points. And if you got your stack right, you may still be fine because the highest scoring pitcher only scored 15 points.
If I was making 20 or more lineups today, I think I'd only X out maybe 3 pitchers.
Smeltzer,
Hudson, and Alexander. I think are the only guys that I would X out.
Hudson and Alexander, by the way, do have Bill Miller behind the plate. He can only do so much. He can't throw the baseball for you, but he is the best, most appealing umpire from a pitching perspective for what it's worth.
But these are also 2 pitchers that don't strike out anyone.
Correct. Yeah, it's just interesting that they have the best umpire and still nobody cares. I get it. Somebody in chat was asking about Roth being a reverse split hitter. No. Historically, he's distinctly better versus lefties. Just WRC plus versus lefties smashes him. 152. Righties 91 means he's 9% less than the average righty. Crunch time crew coming in shortly. I do want to mention before we step aside, I know that Blender loves himself some best ball. Something just tells me he loves tying his money up for months upon months upon months. If you're into the best ball streets, check out spikeweek.com, the premier resource for best ball for any sport. Of course, NFL right now in full swing. You get the best ball draft kit for NFL, NBA when that comes back. Baseball, well, I don't know if they're still doing baseball stuff. Of course, that's a thing that we do at spikeweek.com as well. NFL playoffs, NBA playoffs, golf, all sorts. You get yourself access to Spike Week best ball tools, including ADP tools and the Draft IQ, which helps you track your exposure across all your drafts. So again, if you're into those streets, and Twitter loves themselves some best ball, it's all over my feed. Check out spikeweek.com. Do you have any a poop bag homer of the day? Like, give me like a poop bag player, Tim, that's going to bang out a homer today.
Jesus Aguilar.
He's more. That's kind of the point I was making. Aguilar is better than whatever 2K nonsense outfield. Lars Nootbaar. So yeah.
So he's not
Aguilar
a poop.
plays first base.
He's not a poop bag.
Aguilar, he can actually hit baseballs really far. Nootbaar's just got a fun name. Yeah.
TJ, did you see I bought your poop bags?
I appreciate the poop bag purchase.
Now Dean, if Dean doesn't get you anything, I'm a much better coworker.
You're a mensch.
Without a doubt, you're no longer a coworker. You're a friend, Blender.
Oh, because I bought Did anyone else buy you anything? Did anyone in RG buy you anything?
Well,
you're the only one.
Yeah, see, I'm the best. There you go. Poop bags. That's all I had to do was buy $24 worth of poop bags.
So Roth, we'll bring you in, Dave. You guys, I'm sure TJ was hanging out with us in chat, and we were talking about TJ yesterday. Committing to get himself a certain number of likes, so therefore he's going to get himself a Spider-Man tattoo. And somehow it came up like we started talking about weddings, and TJ dropped his registry. He's not even, and then he said we're invited to his wedding, and like that's not a real invite. You don't invite anybody to a wedding in the YouTube chat. Like at worst, give me an evite. Right.
And when is this? It's happening in like a month or something, right? Yeah.
It's in 4 hours.
A month and a half, August 13th.
Yeah. Let me just get there to Canada immediately.
I say we all crash.
All
and show
5
up.
of you.
let's go to Seth.
Every single person I've been on a show with is invited.
You can't say that. That's not heartfelt.
It doesn't feel heartfelt. Yeah.
No.
I don't mind the invite.
How many
like this.
times?
What I'm concerned about is I've never seen a wedding registry where it's like buy the guy toys. Like it's like here's some Bed Bath & Beyond stuff, which is like normal wedding stuff, and it's like, hey, you want to buy me a video game system or some comic books or whatever? Like this is on the wedding registry.
No, this is a good move because it's always what the woman wants. It's always these stupid things you don't want. So like you get to have your own section of the registry for sure.
And we just bought a place and moved in together, and we condensed a lot of things, and we there's a lot of the typical registry things we have and don't need. Plus, she shares my love for all of this stuff, so it works. It works. I dropped it in there.
What made you decide to click to put poop bags on the wedding?
Yeah,
we got 2 dogs, and they poop a lot, man.
Okay.
Yeah, there's Funko Pops. This is what we wanted to do, Roth. The entire show previously, just kind of go through his registry like gift by gift. It's fascinating, and now I feel guilty. I feel like I gotta buy him something now because now if I don't, it's gonna be a whole thing.
You're not his friend. One of the cheapest things on the registry. That's why I picked it.
Yeah.
Dean,
And by calling Blender his friend, he implied that none of us are his friends either. It really kind of stung.
What's
Dean,
Blender's
this
real
is
name?
my shtick here. Is his last name's Cooper. Jordan Cooper.
What's
Jordan
his
Cooper.
first?
Only because he got the notification from the registry site.
No, I had to think about it. I'm terrible with names, and I just always say
Buddy,
Blender.
do you know a Jordan Cooper?
Yeah. This is my shtick, Dean. It's a double-edged sword. I make the jokes in the YouTube chat, and but at the same time, I always give heartfelt monologues about how much I love the crew at RG. The other day on the morning grind, I talked about how Roth is the absolute best at what he does, and he's such a nice guy, and he's so welcoming, and also how I would just kick his ass in a game of one-on-one basketball. It's the complissalts. It's the heartfelt stuff, and as well with a little bit of jabs in there.
I've never been on the receiving end of one of those. I'm sure it feels great for Roth and everybody else that gets that, but I wouldn't know. Now if it happens, it didn't happen organically, so it doesn't mean anything anyway.
Dean, the reason why you get jabbed so much on Grinders Live is because you're such a welcoming soul. You're so fun and kind to be with. You take them better than anybody else does.
All right, I'm buying you a Funko Pop.
Hey!
Dave, did you see this registry? I'm sure you have thoughts. You're just sitting back and hanging out. And we're going to talk baseball in a second, obviously.
This is the first I've heard of it, so I will have thoughts soon enough.
Roth, there's no weather to discuss, and it's kind of a short slate. So this nonsense was time well spent, I think.
No, it was well worth it. I had no idea that any of this was a thing, and I'm excited to go through this registry now and make fun of him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I will also take the getting made fun of. I'm not going to dish it if I can't take it. So that's fine.
That's good.
Well, myself and Tim and Blender, I assume you guys are done. We're ready to step aside and finalize our lineups. We're going to yield to Roth and the boys.
Yep.
All right. Well, appreciate y'all hanging with us. Do hit that like button kindly, not just for us, but for Roth and for TJ and for his registry and Dave Potts. You guys take us home. We're going to step aside and get out of here.
Appreciate it. As always, Dino, welcome. It's Crunch Time, everybody. It is Crunch Time, sponsored by Fanduel. And if you haven't checked it out, make sure to join the Fanduel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. New users get a risk-free bet up to $1,000, and Fanduel Sportsbook users can take advantage of that. You get your bonus after your first-time bet. Terms and conditions apply, but some good stuff going on there with our sponsor, Fanduel. Good morning. It is crazy early. Joined by a couple of the sharpest minds in the biz, even this early, as Cheese wipes the sleepies from his eyes. Morning, Cheese.
I mean, like if I was gonna have breakfast today, which I'm not, I would just now be thinking about it. And I've been up for 4 hours already writing an article and doing all this stuff, and I still feel like it's super early. I don't understand what's happening. I don't have any idea who's in any of my lineups. I was like, by the time I started building lineups, I was like, I have a show in 8 minutes. I guess here's my lineups.
And you realized you had Acuna and Buxton and all these guys in the lineup.
Buxton was certainly in like all my lineups, so that was fun. Even though I knew he probably wasn't going to play, I still, but maybe he will.
We're Central and Eastern time, I think, the two of us. TJ, is that accurate for you?
I'm 9:30 a.m. right now for me.
Oh, good Lord. And if Ice was on the show, it'd be like 6 in the morning where he is. It's just crazy that we're doing this early. But hey, the people need the plays. Thankfully, they don't need the weather calls, as the weather's just nice. There's no rain issues. Some really good hitting weather. If you haven't checked out MLB Weather Edge, I highly recommend you do so. But I don't know. We don't have much to talk about in weather. So, Cheese, you want to just get right into kind of the slate in general?
Yeah. Okay. So the first big picture item is, even though it's one game different, FanDuel and DraftKings are wildly different types of slates, because we have the two kind of obvious, clear best pitchers on FanDuel only. And then even bigger than that, I would say salary just does not exist at all on FanDuel. You play whoever you want in any lineup. It's going to lead to like it's silly how easy it is to stack the Dodgers with the top pitcher. Whereas on DraftKings, salary is actually really kind of an issue, and there's not even a second pitcher. So very different depending on which side you're on today.
Okay. Well, you want to start talking about some pitchers, and then we'll get to TJ's thoughts as well for tournaments?
I do. So the FanDuel slate, we have Robbie Ray and Frankie Montas. in Oakland. I think there's nothing even sneaky about saying they're the guys even ahead of Kershaw. I mean, Kershaw is great, but he's in Cincinnati and still like he's stretched out now, but stretched out Kershaw is still like 90 pitches compared to 100 plus for Ray and Montas. Just play Ray and Montas and you're done. And you don't need salary. Like you can play Quintana
right
if you want, but goodness, you don't need that salary. Like I'm playing Ray and leaving like $2,000 in a lot of lineups. I mean, it's silly. So I just don't see why you're not playing an expensive pitcher. For the salary, Quintana seems like a good play, but like then you're just leaving $3,000 and you're like, well, I could play Ray or Montas or Kershaw instead of him without even changing my bets. Now
I am seeing the ownership difference there on Quintana is like 5%.
Yeah.
So
you see, we have 3 little dots and 4 to 5% ownership because he projects well for the price, but when you start building lineups, like, I mean, it's useless.
Yeah.
On the DK side, you don't have Ray Montas. Kershaw is pretty close to lock button. Like he's the only pitcher. Kyle Wright, Alex Wood, even Hunter Green, like good pitchers, but just weird spots for today. I will say that Alex Wood has moved up the ranks with this Atlanta lineup. Like Atlanta's sitting 3 of their best righties. So I am playing some Alex Wood now. You can do it with Kyle Wright, except I can't make a case for Wright ahead of Kershaw, and salary does matter here. And I'm not playing Kershaw and Wright together. With the cheaper guys, I think Quintana's the chalk. I just like Justin Steele better. Matchup wise, Quintana's issue is the Cubs' strength, it's right-handed power. I like Steele has an easier path to pitching deeper in the game. He's a little cheaper. He's a little less popular. I like Steele better than Quintana. And then Braxton Garrett is a high risk, not great pitcher, but he's dirt cheap. And there's a lot of builds. You just need a dirt cheap pitcher. So I'm playing some Garrett.
Okay. And can you go kind of double mid or double cheap there with Quintana and Steele? Because that kind of jumps out as something I might want to do.
I personally have 100% Kershaw
Okay.
because like there's too much possibility to get like 0 points from your pitchers if you do that double mid tier.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather do Kershaw Garrett instead of Quintana Steele.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right, TJ, you want to talk about some of your favorite pitchers here and where you may feel differently from Cheese?
For sure. So to start things off, we got 200 people watching, 75 likes for the Spidey Bomb. That's what we're looking for today. I will say as well, Cheese, you've won a couple Millie Makers. There's no excuse for you to not come to my wedding. I think you absolutely just have to eat the flight tickets and come through. Think of how fun a Crunch Time show would be if we were doing the show in this room together. That would be a blast.
That would be. I'll have to see if I'm allowed back in Canada at this point.
Fair. I've heard some stories. There's some you may not be allowed back. Pitcher for today's slate though. On Fanduel where I'm playing today, Robbie Ray is going to be some chalk that I'm eating, and my favorite tournament pitcher by far is Kyle Wright. Like she said, you kind of have to spend up for that salary just because everyone is so damn cheap for hitters today. I love Kyle Wright. The reason I love Kyle Wright is he's striking 28% of right-handed batters out this year. San Fran didn't throw out the lineup we were expecting. I put in my my expert survey this morning. Kyle Wright was the pitcher I was most afraid of being underweight on. I'm not going to be underweight on him anymore because of this lineup that came out for San Fran. They got 6 right-handed batters. The right-handed batters in their lineup strike out 26% of the time to right-handed pitchers. Listella, Yastrzemski, and Jock Peterson are the only lefties in there. Yes, that's scary, but there's no Brandon Belt. They got Austin Slater in there who strikes out 38% of the time to righties. They got Casali in there who strikes out 30% of the time. Longoria 26, Darren Ruff 31. Like they got some high strikeout rates in there. So the way Cheese feels about Clayton Kershaw and DK, that's actually how I feel about Kyle Wright. I think I'd be walking him in there. And on FanDuel, I still really like Robbie Ray because of the matchup, even with the ownership. And I've found some lineups that I just need that 10K price tag instead of Kyle Wright's 10-5, but in tournaments, I absolutely love Kyle Wright.
Okay, talk about some of the stacks here. I think Cheese mentioned the Dodgers stack, but what's the chalk? What's good? What's cheap? What's sneaky?
So the Dodgers are the chalk. They were talking a lot on GrindersLive about just fading the Dodgers today. Blender was, as well as Tim was. My thought process today is I'm actually not going to fade them. I got 3 lineups. I got at least 3-man Dodger stacks on FanDuel. I'm just not playing the same Dodgers as everyone else is. I'm not playing Max Muncy. He's going to be the highest owned one. I'm trying to get underweight on Freddie Freeman and Trey Turner. It could definitely bite me in the butt, but I'm trying to get overweight on the Cody Bellingers, the Chris Taylors, the Gavin Luxes, Justin Turners, guys like that, the back half of this lineup that, as we can see in lineup HQ, aren't picking up near as much ownership as Max Muncy, Trey Turner, and Freddie Freeman. So I still love the Dodgers. I'm just getting off of the chalky ones. Next up on the tournament list for me, I like St. Louis. I like Atlanta. I like Minnesota. And then Jose Ramirez is probably my favorite one-off to pay up for.
Okay. Cheese, you want to talk some stacks?
Yep. Exactly what he said on the Dodgers. Yeah, they're chalk as a team, but there's no real clear, hey, this is the chalk. Because it's basically 8 batters that you want, and then kind of Austin Barnes. So you're not eating a ton of chalk just based on playing the Dodgers. Exactly what TJ said there.
Why do I keep playing Justin Turner, Cheese? He sucks.
I mean, he's kind of probably like 7th or 8th on the list of Dodgers to want. And he's at the one position where there's a lot of great players elsewhere. So yeah, he would not be the one I would tell you to play.
Okay, that's good. I'm not going to play him this time. I'm putting my foot down. I'm tired of playing that guy. Okay, what do you like?
I really like the Twins.
He's going to hit a home run now, isn't he?
He is, absolutely. Yes.
Then that's honestly, while we specifically talk about that, I want to ask Cheese just on specifically what he'd do in this situation. So I'm building 3 lineups today on FanDuel. Like I said, I have 3 different Dodger stacks in there. I currently have Justin Turner in one of them. I have Will Smith in one of them as well. It's a utility position that I can get Justin Turner in. I like it because it would be a nice stack through the back half of the lineup. Would you take out Turner and put in Will Smith, even though you'd have him in 2 of 3 lineups because he's the better hitter? Or would you stick with that stack for differentiation?
I would stick with. I actually like Turner's really not a bad play today. He still doesn't strike out and he still hits the ball in the air. That's exactly what you want in this particular matchup. So, yeah, I would leave Turner in one of your 3.
I appreciate that. I like that because you've been doing this for a long time. And I think that's a similar question to like people in chat lineup building. I think they'd kind of have that route as well. And the other thing I like about Turner and Lux today is Cody Bellinger is probably going to be hitting a home run with both of them on base.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, Cheese, some other stacks here outside of Dodgers.
Yeah, my 2 favorites are Twins and Marlins. It's just sort of it's all very close, and you could like both the Cardinals and the Brewers are very interesting stacks. The Cubs are an interesting stack. This Giants Braves game is so interesting on all angles. Like you can play Wood and Wright and stack the Giants and the Braves, and it's all pretty viable. But I more find myself just kind of leaving that game out of everything for the most part. Just saying, hey, we're going to go, 5-3 where nobody on any side is a slate winner.
Okay. All right, let's go position by position. Start us off at catcher.
I want to start at catcher because catcher's gloriously fantastic. I would say Will Smith, Wilson Contreras, Gary Sanchez are 3 of just my favorite overall bats at any position on the slate. And on FanDuel, Smith and Sanchez, the first build I made had 2 catchers in it on FanDuel, not even trying to be sneaky or worrying about ownership, just salary and matchup. Smith and Sanchez are fantastic. And so that makes it a spend up position on DraftKings and play a catcher on FanDuel too.
Okay, TJ, what do you like at catcher? Same good bats there?
Yeah, same good bats there. I like William Contreras quite a bit today. Anytime he's facing a lefty, I'm interested in getting to him. But yeah, like same boat. You can play both Contrerases. Will Smith is a phenomenal play. Same page for me. Gary Sanchez as well. Yeah, just great. Both
First
sides.
base.
First base today, Freddie Freeman up top is probably the best play, is going to be the highest owned guy for tournament. Somebody I like quite a bit as a pivot is Paul Goldschmidt, either in a St. Louis stack or in a just as a one-off. Garrett Cooper is a good cheapie as well down there. Jesus Aguilar on the Marlins, two guys that are a team that Cheese liked. For me, I'm probably going to be going, if I'm not playing a Dodger or Goldschmidt, I'm probably going to be playing an Atlanta guy, either Contreras in this spot or Matt Olson. Travis d'Arnaud is another guy batting second today, first base catcher eligible. Forgot to mention him a catcher, but he's another guy on FanDuel I like in that spot as well.
Cheese?
Definite Freeman chalk. And while it's fine, like I don't feel like I have to have Freeman even in Dodger stacks. I also like Goldschmidt better as the one-off. Really like Cooper and Aguilar, especially on DraftKings where Aguilar is free. And then Rowdy Tellez is another. He's 3K on FanDuel. That pretty much wraps it up.
Okay. Then second base.
As always, Max Muncy on FanDuel will be chalky. You can also play Gavin Lux in your Dodger stacks, be different.
And Max Muncy is the reason why, Roth, you can play Justin Turner today, even though you feel like he sucks. You can play Gavin Lux, even though he's not a big power guy. Because Max Muncy sucks too, and he is quadruple the ownership of both of them.
Okay, well, I do have Max Muncy, and so maybe I'll make a pivot to someone who sucks but is less owned.
Do it.
Sorry, Cheese.
No, that's fine. Nolan Gorman is not sneaky, and yet still probably not super popular. I feel like everyone is kind of talking about him.
By everyone, do you just mean STL cards?
No, everyone.
Because
like it's not a homer
cards
thing.
love this guy.
No, he's so legit. It's not just an STL thing. I just like the Marlins. Like an expensive Jazz Chisholm lefty. I don't buy that he gets any ownership, and I like him a lot. And I'm fine fading a Dodger at second. Like play Gorman in a Dodger stack, and then you got something different.
Okay, great. TJ.
Yeah, and you also got Donovan in there as well for St. Louis that you can play. I like the idea of actually throwing in Donovan at short and playing Gorman at second there. You can also throw in Arcia in a Atlanta stack. He's batting sixth if you want to roll that. But other than that, it's same guys she said, and then Luis Arias for Minnesota as well.
Okay. Third base.
Third base, this is another spot you can play Muncy. It's another spot you can play Arias. Like I said, I'm on the fade Muncy train today. He's not going to hit a home run. I'm not Dean, so that's going to work. Jose Ramirez is my top spend up option on the slate. He's going to be chalky, but he's just such a phenomenal hitter. He's facing a pitcher that doesn't strike anybody out, and he's in a really good spot. Cheapies that are interesting, Patrick Wisdom, Michael Chavis, John Birdie. But for me, I'm going to be getting a lot of Jose Ramirez today.
Okay. Cheese.
This is where the FanDuel pricing is a problem. It's so easy to fit Ramirez. There's really almost no excuse not to just play him, even as chalk, and just hope that maybe he's only like 40% owned instead of like 80. Arenado would be the pivot off of him. Like the cheaper options are just so much worse, even though they're fine. Like I do like Patrick Wisdom a pretty good amount, but I can't really tell you any reason not to play Jose Ramirez.
Okay, shortstop.
That's on FanDuel, I guess. DraftKings, he's 6K, but I still think you play him, and it just makes him a little less crazy popular.
Okay, shortstop.
Trey Turner, the obvious guy that you can definitely afford on FanDuel. I like Carlos Correa pretty much as Turner, and then I'm just goofing around in stacks. Guys like Ahmed Rosario, Brendan Donovan on FanDuel, Chisholm on FanDuel, Edman on DraftKings. It's all fine. Nico Horner, even in a Cub stack, but really it's Turner, Correa, and then nothing.
Okay, TJ, shortstop.
Yeah, Trey Turner's the guy I'm trying to get a little underweight on, but he's the top play. I'm playing Donovan, I'm playing Dansby Swanson, and Carlos Correa.
Okay, easy enough. Bring us to the outfield, TJ.
Yeah, so in the outfield, this is a tough position because they mentioned it on the last show. There's not a single outfielder you're scared of not having today. There's no Ronald Acuna. There's no Byron Buxton. These are two guys we were hoping to play, didn't get a chance to. So the top price guys on FanDuel are Julio Rodriguez and Jock Peterson, as well as Michael Harris. Now, Harris is in a lefty-lefty batting ninth. Jock Peterson's in a tough matchup. Julio Rodriguez is in a tough matchup. So your top plays at this position are going to end up being guys who are in the cheaper range. You got your Brian Reynolds. You got your Jorge Soler's. My Spidey bomb today, we're still 10 away, but we're talking outfield, and I trust everybody. Hit the like button. Get us up over 75 so that by the time I finish this sentence, we're there, and I can say my Spidey bomb. The Spidey bomb today is Chris Taylor. The Dodgers are in such a phenomenal spot. He's batting fifth. He's higher in the lineup than he usually is. And he's somebody I really like. I talked about the back half of the Dodgers lineup being my favorite stack today. He's somebody I'm heavily overweight on, and he's going to hit a dinger today. He's probably my favorite outfielder on the board.
Okay, good stuff. Cheese, let's go through the outfield.
So TJ's Chris Taylor is my Jorge Soler. He's my favorite guy today. And just like TJ said, like the outfield is weirdly weak. You don't have to have anybody. You don't have to spend a lot of money. On FanDuel, you almost can't spend money even if you wanted to. Like Kepler really stands out salary-wise. But again, salary is whoop-de-doo is what it is. You don't need it. I still like Kepler and Soler and leave some salary. Franmil Reyes on DraftKings at 2,800 is useful. Ian Happ, useful. Oscar Gonzalez, another fine, cheap option. I like the Twins in general. So guys like Kirilloff and Larnack, Trevor L, very good on DraftKings at their salaries.
Okay.
Cooper or Aguilar, last man in a Miami stack.
Yeah. I mean, I'm straight up 50-50 on those. Like every lineup, I'm just making another one and putting the other guy in.
I was just going to say, so what you're saying, I should make a second lineup with the other guy.
There is no real way to do it. What I'll say is I think Aguilar is just a little more power likely. Just take the guy who hits the fly balls when it's close, and it is close. So if you're only doing one, I would play Aguilar, but really I would do two and play the other one too.
So interestingly enough, with Cooper in there, I'm $100 away from the team I want, and so the answer is Aguilar.
You're welcome.
There you go. All right, let's talk your favorite stack. Cheese, you get one stack to win it all. Who's it going to be?
It starts with M-I. I just don't know what the third letter is. I'm going to go Miami.
Oh, I was thinking it was going to be Milwaukee or Minnesota.
No,
I didn't even
Milwaukee's
think of Miami.
third. It's actually three M-I. I didn't even think about how it's three in a row. It's Minnesota and then Miami and then Milwaukee.
Wow. Okay. Incredible. All right. TJ, one stack to win it all. You're playing the Dodgers and you're playing the back half of the Dodgers stack. Wow.
Yes, sir. Nailed it.
Attention today. Look out, guys. Okay. Let's get some QQs. We've got, I think, is Locke here at this odd time? Is it going to be 5 minutes after?
10.
It's in 15 minutes.
No. All right. We'll take some QQs then. We'll see what we got here. How are we feeling about Jonathan India on DK Cheese? He's 4,200. To me, it doesn't matter if he's playing Kershaw.
Matters to me. I'm not playing him. You are welcome to. I don't have him.
Okay. F Primo says, hey, TJ, Caratini and Jonathan Davis. I think maybe these are people who are playing. Caratini and Jonathan Davis are in for Narvaez and Renfroe from Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's just the lineup.
I think he's just, right. Let's get to a question from Dan Jen here. How crazy am I?
I don't even need the rest of the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I want to hear. I obviously want to hear it.
All right. Freeland Green Brewer stack on DK. TJ?
Not for me.
Okay. Oh, well, how crazy is it?
It's pretty crazy. The pitching is the crazy part for me. If you're playing the Brewers, you don't have to get off the wall at pitching.
Yeah. All right. How crazy am I, guys? I'm going Garrett Steele at pitchers.
It's less crazy.
I'm okay with it.
You're okay? Okay. Because my bats look
love it, but
so
I'm okay
good.
with it.
My bats look so good. I'm just going to need 2 or 3 home runs out of everyone, and we'll be good. Prodigy FanDuel single entry. Cheese, Rosario or Kepler?
Kepler.
Carolina guy, favorite pitcher in a FanDuel single entry. There were 2 to choose from, and was it Ray that you liked the most? Did I make that up completely?
That is absolutely correct, actually.
There you go. Ray is the guy. BHB, DK Cash, TJ, you want Belly or Ozuna?
Bellinger.
Carolina guy says, last piece at the shortstop position. Cheese, help me out. Castillo or Jimenez?
I would Jimenez that one.
Okay, I would Jimenez it as well. JP says, Cheese, specifically asked for you. So in my single entry GPP, do you prefer a 5-3 Twins Marlin stack? That sounds nice. Or make it a 3-3-2 by adding a couple Dodgers. Ooh.
Nah, Twins Marlins.
Twins Marlins, okay. I got to pull up the YouTube chat because we actually caught up all the questions here on the old Discord. So give me one little second. And let's see if we got some QQs in the YouTube chat. All I see is, oh, here we go. Okay. Jeff says, TJ, I've got 4 FanDuel lineups. My pitchers are Ray, Montas, Wright, and Ray again. Would you change that second Ray for a Kershaw? I don't think the guy's hit 6 innings yet.
I would not. I'm eating the chalk on Ray. I personally would even debate trying to switch the Montas one up to Wright if I could and go 2-2. I like Wright significantly more than Montas today, but no, I definitely like the idea of Robbie Ray in 2 of them.
Okay, great.
Was that question? Did he say Ray hasn't gone 6 innings?
No. He's talking about
Kershaw.
Okay, I was going to say Ray goes 7. Okay.
Yeah.
That's something that the guys on GrindersLive are pretty worried about too, is a potential pitch count for Kershaw.
Yeah. Zach says, I love that Roth is throwing a lineup out there these days. Yeah, if there's no weather, I'll throw a lineup out. I have yet to do anything in any of these lineups, but one day. Is anybody playing Cleveland on DK? I am. That's my secondary stack. Cheese, am I alone?
Not alone, no. I mean, most people are probably mini stacking Cleveland, mostly playing Jose Ramirez with one of Reyes, Gonzalez, Rosario, but the stack is solid.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm doing. I don't think I got this one in. Under Pressure Production says, TJ, Freeman or Turner, last man in on FanDuel. I assume that is of the Trey variety.
Yes. So, I have a team where I was torn on that, and so I just made the same team twice with one of each. I think Turner is the better play just because he can steal some bases when he's on there as well, but my gut feeling today is Freeman.
Okay, great. Cheese, woo. J-Train says, Marlins Braves 4-3 with third as my last position. Do you like McMahon or Jace Peterson?
That's close. I think McMahon. I don't like either, honestly, but I would go McMahon out of those.
Okay. TJ, I think you said Taylor was one of your favorite plays because Brendan says on DK, Taylor or Belly.
Yeah, I'd go just super narrowly Taylor, but I think Bellinger is actually the better projected one.
Okay, great. Let's see, jumping over here back to the old RG Discord. If you're not a member of the RG Discord, you should be. It's where all the cool kids hang out. Timmy Tebow says DK Cash, Ozuna, Taylor, Cheese, or Yazir Madusky and Bellinger.
I would go. Was it Ozuna Taylor?
It was Ozuna Taylor.
Yeah, I would go that way.
Belly. Yeah. All right. DK's single entry last spot. TJ Peterson or Reynolds?
Peterson.
Carolina guy says, Cheese, I got 3,500 bones left. I need an outfielder for a FanDuel GPP.
3,500?
3,500.
So pretty much any outfielder. I mean, I would play Jorge Soler.
Okay. Woo woo. J Train is very pleased with how I properly pronounce his name, and it's a good name, so I'm going to give it the proper woo woo that is deserved. Is this a thing? I'm just looking at our screen now. Do we often zoom in this much? Oh, thank God. It was just
it flops around, I think, based on who's talking, and sometimes the screen shares up. And
okay, let me know what to do to never make it zoom in that tight on my face again. That would just give me a heads up on that. That would be great.
I thought you looked fantastic.
It was disturbing. It was jarring. I looked at good Lord. All right, a few more QQs, and then we got to talk some breakfast too. That's of the utmost importance. Okay. We got caught up on all the questions. Cheese, are you a late/non-breakfast eater?
Yeah, I'm a non-breakfast eater.
Wow. I don't even understand that. TJ, where do you stand in the great breakfast debate?
I very rarely eat breakfast, but breakfast food is my favorite food. So like I won't eat food early in the morning because my stomach's just never ready for it, but I always eat breakfast food later in the day because I love it.
Wow. So as soon as I wake up, and I don't mean I mean absolutely need multiple eggs on a sandwich with cheese, preferably some bacon.
See, and I'm with you there, but I'll have that a few hours after I wake up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, this is as soon as I wake up, I'm just itching to get my breakfast Sammy fix in. Hey, QQ Brave Stack Cheese. And can I convince you into an egg sandwich for breakfast tomorrow morning early?
No on the egg sandwich. Yes-ish on the Brave Stack. It's with that lineup, they've moved really far down my list, but yes, they're still in play.
Okay. All right. Kind of jumping
around.
I got
my DraftKings team in. I'm playing some DraftKings today.
There we go. Dan Jan says, hey, why is everybody on Garrett when Freeland projects better?
Cheese.
I know who Freeland is, and I know that he's not good, for sure. We don't know for sure that Garrett's not good yet.
Such a good answer.
Freeland's also 1,400 more expensive.
Can we just clip that? I just love that answer. This is my main thought process in DFS in general is if there's a dude and I'm not sure that he sucks, he might suck or he might not, but I'm not sure that he sucks, I want to play that dude, assuming he's cheap.
That's exactly what Braxton Garrett is right now. He's probably not good, but AAA Braxton Garrett is pretty good. Yeah. And we just haven't seen him enough to know.
And the other thing with somebody we don't know if they're good or not in the MLB is the opposing team doesn't know if they're good or not. And when there's the less film there is on a guy, the tougher it is to hit him unless he's just off. So
right.
Even if, I agree. Garrett over Freeland.
I like it. All right.
Post up 2 away from 75 likes. Please hit the like button. Free show, courtesy FanDuel. We got Roth making lineups. We got we're talking poop bags and stuff like that on the earlier show. Breakfast. Hit that like.
And you kind of gave them the Spidey bomb like assuming, or at least
out of
saying,
the
all right,
kindness of my heart, my
Yeah.
Canadian kindness came
but
back
just
to bite
saying,
me.
like, I fully expect you guys to give me the proper amount of likes. This is an exchange. We still need the likes. You gave the Spidey Bomb. We still need the likes, even if the Spidey Bomb came first. D-Dot, FanDuel single entry, Cheese, Quintana or Plesac?
Quintana.
Post-lock QQ, but I don't, we're itching for questions, so I'm taking it anyways. Is there a certain tool or site to get pitch velocity data from start to start? For instance, when you say, hey, this pitcher's velocity has been down the last 3 starts, is there a spot for that?
Yes. Fangraphs game log.
Okay. There you have it. Thank you, Cheese. I'll jump over to the YouTube. QQ Brave Stacks. I think we did that one? We did that one.
Yeah.
All right. Is a TJ, this is yours. Is a same game stack viable on a 6-game slate? Sure.
You know what? We just solved the whole problem. I can live with that, a same game stack. Like that's not a game stack.
Right.
It's 2 teams. You know what? Problem solved. We could have saved so much anguish over all the years. Same game stack.
From
Done.
now on, we just, instead of calling it a game stack, we call it a same game stack.
My whole issue has always been game stack is a term that means something in other sports, and you can't translate
Pace of
it.
play. And yes.
Same game stack. Thank you.
It's
Whoever
great.
said that, happy
It's great.
Thursday. You're the player of the day.
Happy Thursday to Under Pressure Productions. Same game stack. Is it viable? I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Doesn't matter if it's a 2-gamer or if it's a 15-gamer. They are equally viable. Yeah, the only time it really correlates to baseball is when it's weather related. And there's pretty good weather everywhere today. So, yeah, fire it up.
Yep. All right. Nathan says, hey, who was the Spidey Bomb? It was Chris Taylor.
Taylor
was the old Spidey Bomb. Eric Johnson says, Cheese, what are your thoughts on the old Rockies?
Yeah. So for the exact same reason as why we're playing Garrett, we have no idea if he's good. He might really be not good. A Rocky stack is viable. I have 1 or 2.
Okay, wonderful. Aaron Goni says Wilson or William Contreras. TJ?
I'm a William guy.
Oh, okay, Contreras. Are they both Contrerases? Is that?
They're brothers.
Yeah. And it's really hard. Like when you're clicking the name, it's both just like W Contreras on the site.
They're both
it's pretty easy to
catchers
get the
who
wrong one.
hit left-handed pitchers better, and they're brothers, and their price are close to each other.
Yeah, and they're both really good. Yeah, they're always priced right next to each other.
Both facing lefties today.
Yeah, I've definitely accidentally clicked the wrong one, and it's still likely to work out fine.
Okay.
They're both great plays. I give the edge to William. If you have other Braves in your lineup, go William. If you have other Cubs, go Wilson.
Nathan says Rosario and Goldie or Trey Turner and Will Smith. Cheese.
I mean, that's Trey Turner and Smith.
Greg says Roth's hair is always on point. How many times do you get a haircut per week? I get a haircut like once every 2 months.
Per week. I love it.
It's a very elaborate comb over that keeps it in place. So thank you for the kind words. TJ, how often do you get a haircut? You get a lot of it.
I used to be like a once every 6 weeks ish guy, but since the pandemic started, it's been more of like once every 4 months.
Ooh.
I think I'm basically just waiting until like I'll go here in a couple weeks, get like a nice wedding cut, and then get it trimmed up like a week before, so it's all ready to go.
Right, you don't want to get it cut like right before the wedding. You gotta space.
Get
it
the
out.
main cut a month before, and then kind of the styled and cut a week before.
Yeah. Geez, do you get a haircut or do you do your own handy?
Yeah, I've just got the clippers. You know, we can cut the dogs, cut the horse, cut my hair, everything.
Wait, I gotta pause you. Do you have a horse?
My daughter rides horses. Yeah.
Wow. Does the horse live at the house?
No, so we just rent space at a barn.
Gotcha. Yeah.
No, we don't have like a horse in the backyard, and we do not live on a farm. But
that's
yeah,
what I was
my daughter
picturing
rides
for a
horses.
second. Yeah. Oh,
maybe one day. Honestly, we'll see.
I would love that for you. I want you to retire to a farm, and if you do, not retire, just live out there and work. I don't want you to retire. If you do, please let me know. I want to come hang out on your farm.
Done.
Yeah, thank you. I love horses. They're such gentle beasts. you just feed them, you give them a little carrot or something. They just look you in the eyes like they love you and they appreciate you.
Yeah.
I'm a big horse fan. When I see a cop on a horse, I have to go up to the cop on a horse and say, "Excuse me, sir, may I pet your horse?"
Yeah.
Your
This is
horse.
one of the big perks of Canada in general is the Mounties, obviously.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't know where you were going there, but yes. TJ, you big horse fan? You got the Mounties over there.
Not a horse guy.
Not a horse guy.
Wow.
Not a horse guy. I'm a dog guy. I'm a cat guy. I'm a small animal guy.
Oh, horses are amazing. Big fan. Don't stand behind them.
They're majestic though. Like they're very majestic beings.
Yeah, they really are.
I've never rode on a horse before.
Oh, I'd say you're missing out, but really, it's more fun to just look at him and pet him, riding.
Yeah,
him.
you want to give the horse a carrot. You don't have to sit on it.
Yeah. That's after
I
15
will
minutes.
watch horses and appreciate them, but I just don't gotta get very close.
Yeah, I mean, I disagree, but okay. Okay, we got a couple more questions, then we'll get out of here. Kepler or Belly, DK Cash, Cheese?
I guess you got to go to the Dodgers side. I honestly prefer Kepler, but in cash, just play the Dodger.
TJ, aside, FanDuel Cash, Rosario Gonzalez or Kirilloff and Will Smith?
Second one.
D. Montgomery says, 100-man FanDuel, I got 3 stacks. Dodgers, Cleveland, Dodgers, Minnesota, and Miami, Minnesota, and my 2 chalky.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, that sounds pretty good to me. Okay. Okay, guess what? We caught up on all the QQs. With that, we are going to get on out of here. So for Cheese, for TJ, and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.